my daughter's at a sleepover on the night we're recording this. And I got a text that she had dropped boiling water on her foot while they were cooking. No. Yeah. And like burned her foot and everything. So
whoa,
that's a whole thing. So she's like,
is she okay?
Yeah, she's all right. It's like, I think there's some blisters maybe on it. And so she came over here and I gave her some Tylenol to take if she couldn't sleep. But I was like, tomorrow you're going to sit and you're going to be barefoot. You're going to clean that foot and then you're going to sit down all day and not go anywhere and do anything. You're going to recover.
Yep.
So it's crazy. Like the day before that, she got hit in the eye by a Nerf dart.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
going through it.
I know. It's like, maybe we'll come home after this.
Let's not test our fate at this point.
She's been doing a lot of sleepovers lately. Like she's been doing double sleepovers, like the whole, like 2 nights at a place. So, it's been saving me money on dinner, dude. Like I keep I'm rolling over leftovers and like, now let's just do another night of leftovers. We still have food. Yeah.
Yep.
So sure.
Yeah, why not?
Now my kid's getting her feet burned, so it's kind of like the return on that investment is starting to level off a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, sleepover, Dustin. That's a whole other like chapter I'm in now. Is that sort of thing. I got one kid who's old enough to go to sleepovers. I got one kid who wants to go to sleepovers but isn't ready for them. And 2 kids who don't even notice when she's gone for an entire day.
Sure.
That's a whole thing, dude. Like, but of course these are people I know, obviously. Like there hasn't been too much of, there was a couple during school with people like I didn't know, like classmates whose parents I then had to meet, you know, that was super weird and
sure,
whatever. But, it's nuts.
Yep.
My kids are, everything ages. We're all getting older.
Yep.
Especially if you're Brad Pitt.
Wee!
F1.
So you like straight talk?
Straight as an arrow. No sugar.
Why are you here, Sonny? When you look in the mirror, you see this rough and tumble, old school cowboy. Doesn't take orders, goes his own way, huh? A lone wolf. Well, I've news for you. Formula One is a team sport. It always was. Listen, let's get this straight. We all lose our jobs if you can't pull off a miracle.
No pressure.
None.
The only question here is, why did Sonny Hayes come back to F1?
I think it's really wonderful that Apex are giving second chances to the elderly.
It's all right. You're just worried I'm quicker than you.
You're making a mistake. Thinking that I'm just gonna be some grateful kid who'll bend the knee to an old timer.
I never should have pulled you into this.
Down the inside, contact!
That's the other driver. You say he was old, he not that old. That's a handsome man right there.
What's he doing? Plan C, be ready.
Just gotta hope for some lucky breaks.
Hope it's not a strategy.
Anything else, Professor?
Drive fast. Ever seen a miracle?
Not yet. How do you think I'd feel if you die on the track?
3 laps. 3 laps is a lifetime.
Also marketed as F1 the movie, in case you saw the poster for it or the trailer and thought, is this a movie? It is. It is a film directed by Joseph Kosinski, who you would know from Top Gun Maverick, most notably, Oblivion, less notably, or Tron Legacy, notably again. It was written by Aaron Kruger, a writer who just never disappears. He's everywhere. I don't know. It's crazy. Yeah, this is a Jerry Bruckheimer film, and got Brad Pitt in this movie. Damson Idris, Kerry Condon is in this movie. Mercifully, woo. Tobias Menzies is in this movie with his strange last name, and Javier Bardem is in this movie as well. As suggested by the title, it's a movie about Formula One racing, and it is a pretty stock story. That's not a car pun, but it's kind of it's a pretty stock story. That's like a veteran athlete basically returns to a sport to rescue a struggling team, and there's like a rookie on the team, and there's conflict with the rookie. Right. And it's a thing. So, but I think that works to the film's strength because you go into it knowing what you're going to see, and that's why people see, like, to me, this has a lot of the same strengths as Top Gun Maverick, which is like, I know what this movie is, but I want to see how it's executed, cause it's not like, it's a familiar feeling story. It's, a sports movie. And executed on a large and impressive scale. So I double dipped. I saw Megan and F1 in the same day. Nice. My kids were with their mom, and I was like, well, shit, I've got the whole night. And I had already gotten tickets to Megan, and I was just like, you know what? Oh, and here's a story about seeing F1. I wasn't going to see this, and then I saw Brad Pitt pop on the Armchair Expert to promote it. And I listened to the whole interview, and I was like, damn, that sounds cool. And so I was like, as soon as my evening freed up, I was like, I'm gonna double dip. And so I spent 6 hours at the movie theater the night that I saw this. Nice. And had pretzels for dinner. And so this is from the director of Top Gun Maverick, and it's executed in a similar way to Top Gun Maverick in production value. There's real camera mounts inside of these custom cars. They're not Formula One cars that the actors are driving, but they are driving. Brad Pitt is driving. Damson Idris is driving. Like they went through extensive training to be able to drive and handle these speeds. They really filmed on racing weekends at these tracks. They had limited windows in which they were allowed to drive. Obviously, so like a lot of those crowds are people who are just at a race, which is a very old school way of getting a shitload of extras and but to populate a historic locations. But yeah, real driving, real cameras, very real action in that sense. They even developed this part of the money behind this movie is Apple developed cameras that would like mount and also pan. And so there's a lot of those shots in the movie that's like driving front way, and then the thing whip pans to the side and to show you like, yep, that's Brad Pitt. That's him. Yeah. It's a cool movie. Like I said, somewhat stock, somewhat low stakes. But that's somewhat what Maverick felt like. So instead I kind of refer to this as like more of a classic kind of structure, classic sort of stakes in that sense. Like I said, it feels the way it's not a middle budget movie, but it has that feeling of the middle budget original movie. This isn't based on an existing IP. It's just a story. It's not adapted from anything. It's just a movie. And that's awesome. Solid performances from Brad Pitt, from Kerry Condon, and Damien Idris, or what's his? Damson. Damien. The racing is thrilling on a visceral level. The music is really great. It's Hans Zimmer, I think. It's a good time at the movies. And I think that if you go into it with a similar like expectation of Maverick, you'll be a little underwhelmed because it doesn't quite deliver on the highs and lows of Top Gun Maverick. It doesn't have the same emotional resonance as that does, which either is just inherent in the kind of movie it is, or that's just the magic of the Tom Cruise effect of him being involved and making something very basic, very emotionally resonant.
Yeah.
Which he does a lot. So I have to think that that's attributed to him somewhat. But it's another cool entry into Kaczynski's oeuvre if you're following his career, and it's like, wow, he went from this to this to this. I mean, the guy's only made like a handful of movies, and I haven't seen Oblivion, but they're all solid or better. So, and for him to be one of those filmmakers who is pushing the medium forward by continuing to work with these, like, he's patented the confined space camera. Confined space in a fast, dangerous machine camera.
Yes.
So I just think that the movie is really impressive for how it was executed. And I also just happened to have enjoyed the story and enjoyed the actors. And I really do think that being a fan of Kerry Condon carries you a long way in this movie, because every time she was in a scene, it was filled with life. But I think it wasn't just, oh, I love Kerry Condon. It's like, I liked that character. I liked that there's a whole character that her whole story is being a woman in this space, and, you know, just standing out from a crowd of dudes, basically. Gave her character a lot of distinct presence. So I would recommend F1. Especially in the theater. I mean, it's big, it's loud. There is a benefit to having a gigantic screen and being able to take in all of this stuff you're seeing. See it in IMAX if you can. I liked it. I don't know what I would rate it, but like I said, not as resonant as Maverick, but I don't know. I can see this being one of those films that just sort of grows on me for its little moments and its tactility. The way that like Moneyball did for me, another Brad Pitt movie. Just like the more I saw that movie, the more I was like, damn, this movie's pretty great. Yeah. Like what is it about this? And I think it's the same thing with like those any Documents movies, or I think Patrick H. Willems just put out a video about the Documents film. I used to call that the journalism movie, or the investigative movie, like Zodiac and Good Night and Good Luck and stuff, and Spotlight. And I think it's like, it's tactility. It is people messing with papers and blueprints and files and stuff. And it's that same thing here. It's just, this is real shit. Yeah. And it's that weight and that texture that having real elements on screen gives you, that you just don't get from you know, big budget CG stuff, which I also love, but that is its drawback, and that's a strength it will never ever have over movies like F1 or Top Gun. So I recommend F1 for sure.
I saw the trailer for this, but like, I didn't know anything about this movie. Didn't know it was coming out. I saw the trailer like 2 weeks ago, like just snuck up on me. Yeah. And I was like, what is this thing? Had no idea that Kaczynski had a movie coming out. No idea. Yeah, like I'd escaped all of this. Yeah. I don't know how. And I saw it and I was like, oh, I might see that. Yeah. And then you had texted and was like, I'm going to go see it. And I was like, I will see this. Yeah. And so I'm glad I did. I ultimately give this 4 stars. Like, I think this is a really good movie. It is not as good as Top Gun Maverick, as you've already highlighted. I think again, it's the emotional resonance. It's that like gut punch that Maverick gives you, both in like exhilaration, but also in those quiet like moments of forgiveness, or moments of like, bonding moments. And I don't really know that this has that type of hills and valleys, but it certainly does what it does well. It's just, again, like you've already said, it's just it's kind of rote at this point. Like, it is what it is. I didn't disengage with it at any point, which is great. It's 2.5 hours, but they fly by. And I was loving, like, there's a shot, I think it's fairly early on, where I think it may be even that first scene, but anyway, I can't remember now. But there's a scene where the cars are on the track and there's like fireworks all around them. And I was like, this is genuinely really well shot. Like, even if those fireworks are CG, which maybe they were, I was like, this looks really impressive. And I was so in, and just like all of the visual elements of this film, masterclass.
Yeah.
But the plot is fairly generic. If you've ever seen a sports movie, you've seen this film.
Yeah.
It does it well, but it doesn't break new ground. But to that end, Brad Pitt, Dempsey, Idris, Javier Bardem, Kerry Condon all do a really great job with the role they're given and the type of role they're given.
Yeah.
It amazes me that Brad Pitt is still able to perform at this level, not because he's like, well, why is he good? I'm saying like he could have become complacent.
Yeah.
At this point in his career. And this is a really complicated role to play because it's an understated character.
Yeah.
Like he's not like one note, but he's definitely like he's a rebel, but he's almost putting on that rebelness to some degree. That's a very difficult thing, I would think, to play a character who's hiding behind something.
Yeah.
And this is a character who's hiding. He's got some quirks. It's the playing cards. It's, the father stuff. It's all that stuff that's like hiding behind everything he says that Pitt has to keep all of that in mind in every delivery, and he does it really well.
Yeah.
Dempsey Idris, again, he's playing that typical role of the rookie who's threatened by the veteran.
Yeah.
So we've seen this before, but man, I have not seen Dempsey Idris in anything, but he's really good and charismatic.
Yeah.
And I think appropriately plays this rookie who's kind of looking for the spotlight and kind of finding it. And I think that he's just like the smile, the swagger, like all of that is there just naturally for him. But then he also has to put that on. Like it's a total put on. And there's a moment where he's arguing with Sonny Hayes and then like quickly clicks into advertising mode.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's again, probably a really hard thing to do. Javier Bardem, his character is, the manager who's desperate.
Yeah.
And so there's not a whole lot to that character,
right,
but he certainly brings a chemistry with Brad Pitt that feels lived in and earned.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. And then Kerry Condon, you already mentioned this, but I will second this, that every time she's not on screen, I'm waiting for her to come back on screen.
Yeah.
And I don't know why really, because obviously like the character is an important character. She's a character that ultimately we've seen before too. It's, the first female in this space. It's, breaking the glass ceiling, type of character. And that's great. But again, we've seen it before. So why is she so magnetic? I think it's a couple things. I think it's the way that her conflict with Brad Pitt is always flirtatious. That makes it interesting to watch.
Yeah.
And it's her chemistry with him.
Their scenes are really well written, and they have great chemistry as actors for sure.
It feels natural.
Yeah.
There's a moment toward the end when they are a little more comfortable with one another, and it feels so naturally like clingy to him, or so naturally comfortable, and that I think is I don't know if it's natural. I don't know if behind the scenes they hated each other's guts. I don't care. The truth is, on screen it reads as comfortability, and that's got to be, again, a really tough thing to pull off, even if they are best friends. So I found myself waiting for her to show up again. And part of that is like, I wanted it to be more of the love story or more of like the exploration of that than anything else, because all the other stuff I kind of knew how that was going to end. With her character, it could have ended a couple different ways. And any of them would have been valid. So she was kind of the wild card. It could have ended with a happy yay, and now we're married. Or it could have ended with a, big meltdown and we'll never see each other again. You've betrayed me in some way. And it's, I can't reconcile that. And that is like, it could have gone either way. With Javier, with Damson, you kind of know how those stories are going to go, but she was the wild card. So I wanted more of that. Yeah. And I think, again, you've hit on everything visually and the things that are impressive with, the actual performing of the driving. So I won't harp on any of that, but the way that the film utilizes, and this is like an age-old trick, right? Utilizing the sports announcer to tell exposition to the audience who's unfamiliar with the sport, what the rules are and what the characters are thinking and doing.
Yes.
It's done really well here.
Yes.
And as somebody who has never seen F1, an F1 race ever,
seen a Formula One race.
I have no knowledge of what Brad Pitt was thinking about doing in any of these instances. So that was really important for me. And it was really well done. It was clear. Oh, yeah. I would imagine that type of dialogue is really hard to write because it's got to be clear and concise. Yeah. And the audience is already distracted.
Oh, it's got to be hard to shoot and edit too.
Yeah.
Those
and it's
tiny little things have to be perfectly placed.
Yes. And it's precise. Not diegetic, right? The actors aren't hearing this.
Yeah.
The characters aren't hearing this. So for us, we're hearing this as viewers. We're also being distracted by the race itself and what the characters are doing. So the dialogue has to be even more pinpoint accurate because I'm distracted while I'm hearing it.
Yeah.
And so to that end, it was super successful. Yeah. And yeah, man, I don't know. I thought this was just a really solid, good time. Yeah. Does it break new ground? Absolutely not. Does it do anything that is going to make it stand out? And, 20 years from now, we're looking at this to have learned something. I don't think so. But I do think that everything it set out to do, which is become a crowd pleasing hit, it is doing.
Yeah.
And yes, you can compare it to Top Gun Maverick for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with that. Top Gun Maverick was great.
Yeah.
And yes, movies are derivative of other movies. It's a good thing and a bad thing. In this case, it didn't bother me. Yeah. And I think that's because I was at least wrapped up in the story enough. There's enough mystery to help me be engaged with it. And if by the time that had started really happening where I'm like, oh, this is definitely Maverick territory. If that had started happening when I was checked out, then I would have hated the film, but I was still in, so it didn't bother me. And yeah, that's where I'm at with F1. I think, if you have a chance, just like if you have a chance to see it on the big screen and in IMAX, then take it, do it. Yeah. If you want to wait for, your home theater setup, go for it. If you want to watch it on your phone, sure. I don't recommend it, but sure. Whatever you got to do it.
I hope Apple puts this as physical media because didn't they not put it out Killers of the Flower Moon?
Yeah, I don't think that's had a physical release.
Right. And so that's my beef. It's just like, you have to acknowledge to an extent that people are not going to get the full experience of watching this, just streaming it from their Apple TV Plus. It's like there is still money to be made. I mean, God, we've beaten a dead horse on this topic, but we've been talking about this so much recently, just the ads and the buffering and the losslessness of of movie files over streaming services that are entirely based on server speed and internet speed and too many factors. The resolution of your television, and it's just I just want to watch it on Blu-ray. I would buy this movie. I would own it, and I would want to watch it big and loud from a disc, getting the full resolution that disc can deliver to me.
Yes.
Even if my router's unplugged,
Sure. Yeah.
I think if you're not going to watch this in theaters, then you are at the mercy of your internet speed, and that's fine. But I just think that you're leaving something on the table. I would rent it. Sinners is out on digital right now, but but the physical release comes out. I think by the time this episode's out, it's coming out. I think it's the first week of July, and I'm going to wait till my library has it to watch it because I know that after everything that's been happening lately with me and my streaming adventures, it's like, I'm done. I'm just, if it's a movie, I'm gonna rent it on Blu-ray. I'm gonna watch it that way.
Yep.
And I'm gonna make it a little bit special because the disposability of streaming is starting to take its toll on me finally. Yeah. And it's killing my spirit and
sure.
And also my body.
Sure. So, I'm physically dying.
Yeah, it's infecting my lymph nodes. Hulu is infecting my lymph nodes. Yes. So all that to say, like, go see it in theaters. And if you're not going to do that, then I urge you to check it out on physical. Figure it out. Like I just said, you have a library. Your library probably has movies, and then if it doesn't, okay, fine. Like go stream it, whatever. But
sure.
But check it out. It's definitely worth seeing for sure. So
I can't wait for F2.